Greetings to everybody. Now we continue the 8th chapter on meditation of Bodhicharyavatara, and now we are on the 4th stanza, which is a very, very important stanza. The English translation says, penetrative insight joined with calm abiding utterly eradicates afflicted states. Knowing this, first search for calm abiding, found by people who are happy to be free from worldly ties. That's the English translation. And Tibetan is Hine Ratu Dembi Longtongi Nyomu Number Jamba Hisine Tomar Hine Zalsha Teyun Jete Chapamela Ngukitu. I think it would be good if I go through the Tibetan word by word a little bit. Hine Raptu Dembi Longtongi Hine. Hine is calm abiding, what is translated here, shamatha, with a very strong or with a very clear existence of shamatha, with that laktong, that vipassana, where there is a very strong shamatha, that will completely eradicate the kleshas. Samatha meditation, as you know, is calm abiding meditation. I think we already talked about this in Buddhism. If we kind of look at the whole spectrum of meditations, there are so many meditations, or so many different types of meditations, or different approaches to meditations, or different ways of meditating, lots of different methods. But all of them, if we try to categorize, they categorize into two: samatha and vipassana. Now the samatha, or shine, is a type of meditation which is to make our mind calm and clear. So that's why it's called calm abiding. Shivar nepa. Shi means like calm, ne means like abiding or making our mind calm and therefore clear. Now this alone, samatha meditation, is a very important meditation, very strong meditation. All our, when we are good, or when we are able to go deeply into the samatha meditation, our mind can become very clear, and all our, natural qualities of our mind can come out, and all kind of powers of meditation can become apparent, seeing, being able to understand or see through space and time, and all this kind of qualities come out of that. Very, very important, clairvoyance and all these things, and lots of, mental powers come out of this. But this alone, it can calm down our negative emotions. It can, it can make our mind very calm and very clear, but it doesn't uproot the kleshas. So therefore it is said that is necessary as a basis, but more important, or the most important, is vipassana. Vipassana here means insight. Here it's translated as penetrative insight, meaning knowing or understanding or experiencing the way how things really are, how you really are, how your mind really is, how the whole phenomena actually is. To be able to clearly experience and understand and see this. That's why it's called insight. That insight meditation then can completely eradicate the kleshas. But insight meditation happens as a basis for insight meditation. The calm abiding meditation becomes very important. And insight meditation and of course calm abiding meditation not totally separate. When you do the calm abiding meditation, that will help to develop insight meditation, because insight meditation is about knowing the true nature of things, but it's not only intellectually, it has to be experientially. So therefore, calm abiding is necessary, samatha is necessary for that. So you have to understand this. This is the very important fundamental Buddhist understanding, that insight meditations, vipassana meditation, together or with the help of, with the basis of, with the foundation of strong samatha meditation, is what actually clears away or purifies all the, from the root, all, kleshas, and therefore, will bring us complete liberation from the samsaric state of mind. That is the important Buddhist way of thinking. So this is something very important. Now, first, tomar hine tsasa. Therefore, first we have to find shamatha. You have to look for shamatha. You have to practice shamatha. Now there are few different systems. Some systems do only shamatha first. Shamatha, and when you get a very, very good grounding in shamatha, then and then only you start vipassana. And there are systems where you actually practice samatha, but also a little bit of vipassana together. Then there are some others who actually start with vipassana, and through that you try to cultivate samatha. Now, there are different, slightly different approaches, but that also depends, maybe person to person also. Now here, the general instruction is first you try to practice samatha. And how do we? So how do we get samatha? How can we, attain samatha? Now we have this, 6 consciousness, 6 consciousness we call it, or 6 senses. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness. With eye you see, with ear you hear, with nose you smell, with tongue you test, and with the body, you feel. Then with mind, with yit, mental, you know, this 6 senses. Of course, these all 6 senses, all other 5 needs the mind. You see with your eye, but you can't recognize, you can't know without the mind. You hear with your ear, but you cannot really hear or recognize what you're hearing without the mind. So the mind, the 6th sense, is very, very important, because that's, there also, we talk about 6 consciousness, we talk about 8 consciousness. We are not talking about this now. Let us, in the Madhyamika way, we talk about only 6 consciousnesses. In the second Dharmachakra, Buddha talked about 6 senses. In the third Dharmachakra, he talked more about 8 senses, 8 consciousnesses. Now the 6th sense, the mind, this is where the samatha has to, your consciousness, your mind, mental consciousness, if you allow your mental consciousness to be in that, aware of the mental consciousness, and then not distracted by other consciousness, and not running after all other consciousnesses or other senses, then the shamatha is accomplished. So therefore, we of course, different methods are used, like, learning how to relax. First our body and then our mind, because our mind is also very much dependent on our body, especially the 5 senses. So therefore, when we relax, then we can become less turbulent, less distracted. So then relax, and then we cannot stop all the senses. We see, we hear, we feel, we smell, but allow that to kind of although a little bit, in order to sometimes we little bit focus on one thing, say like breathing, or say like sound, or sometimes object of that we look, object that we feel, object that we imagine, or we visualize, or something like that, and then but very relaxed, and allow our mind to relax. And in order to do that, then we work on that, and meditate and learn to. And when we slowly learn how to relax our body, our mind, our senses, and everything that happens, everywhere around, then our mind doesn't completely get distracted there, here and there. Then slowly we find that we can, the peace of our mind is not only about what's going on around, but about ourselves. We can bring peace of our mind, stability of mind, just by ourselves, if we learn, if we know how to do that. And the more confidence we have, more we know how to do that. It doesn't matter there are sounds. It doesn't matter there are, things happening. It doesn't matter what is around us or what is happening, but the way our mind is reacting to it. So therefore, he says, jite chapa melangind, your happiness or your joy or your not attached. Here it says, with the ties. It's not really ties. It's chakpame, not having attachment too much to the worldly things, to the things that are going on, and joy in that brings the shamatha. What brings shamatha is not become addictively attached to everything around us, everything everything that goes on in the world. That's this essential thing. Now this is very important because if you are too much attached to something, then your mind is always going there, and you are always occupied by your mind with that, and you are always worried, always concerned, always thinking about, and also what that person is doing or not doing, or they are nice to you or not nice to you, or what they say or what they do, or it hurts you, it makes you happy, it makes worried, so it's too much distraction. In the same way, if you are attached to something, whether it's something material, something like your car or your house or money or something, or your job, or your name or your fame, or your anything. The more you are attached to something, the more you are too much, the more your mind is distracted, and your mind cannot settle down because you are always thinking about that, and So therefore, in order that your mind becomes calm and clear and shamatha, we need to learn how to free ourselves from that kind of attachment. Unless we free our mind from that, we can never have peace of mind. It doesn't matter if you are really concerned about something or somebody. Yes, it's okay. You want your loved ones to be happy. You want to help them to get everything that's possible for them. You should do that, and you should do everything that will help them to make things better for them. But you also needs to feel, peace in your mind, stability in your mind. If your mind is constantly and too much worried or involved and thinking and distracted towards that actually doesn't help to make things better for them, nor it's good for you. Also sometimes, if you're too much attached to somebody, actually you try to control them too much, and that actually destroys the relationship. To maintain a good relationship, you have to give freedom. You have to give lots of freedom. And with too much attached, you cannot give them freedom. You would not give them freedom. So therefore, it's not good for them, neither it's good for you, because you can't have peace of mind. And you are too much reacting. So if somebody you love or you are attached to does or says something little bit, or little bit is like a sign that he or she doesn't like you or doesn't appreciate you or doesn't, do what you say, you get very hurt. And then when you get hurt, you are totally, disturbed. You cannot have peace of mind. So therefore, both for your good and both for their good, and also, if you're attached to things, or if you want something, or if you think something that is very important or very good, okay, you can try to get that, but you should not. And also know that everything there is, whether it's people, whether it's things, it keeps on changing. So what I'm saying is that too much attachment, if I can free myself, my mind, from too much attached to things, that is the key. That's the key for our mind to settle down, So therefore, what we try to, in order to try to really bring, practically good shamatha, we need to learn to to let go, to free our mind from too much attachment and too much, at least at that time when you're doing the meditation, or slowly that we are, when we want our mind to be free, we maintain that with the understanding that doesn't matter. We love people, we want things, we like things, we care about lots of things, but it doesn't help if we are too much, constantly and too much attached and too much reacting and too much involvement, too much grasping about whether people or things. We need to learn to be free from that attachment for some time. And then more and more, that will make our love and positive concern, for the people also much more genuine and much more useful and much more viable, because we can give lots of freedom. And so when we have freedom and our mind becomes open, it's good for everybody. The relationship becomes very good, because you are not too much kind of reacting all the time, and you are not too much hurt, or whatever happens, it's okay, so therefore it becomes good in the, it's a very important thing also for you and for everybody, and then you can also get peace of mind. And the more you do, then these things changes, when you lose something also, you totally don't get completely devastated. When somebody who you care and love does not care and love you, it doesn't totally break you also, because that things change and everything is transient and nothing remains the same. So you can let it be. So you really become completely independent and free. So therefore, that's a very important message, which is very difficult for people to understand. We people in the world have lots of difficulties to really deeply understand this. So that's the for stanza number 4. I stop here.